Hi everybody, it's Sheila Ryan from Designs by Baby Moon, and I wanted to show you how to put together these amazing double-sided luggage tag designs. There are several designs that are on the Designs by Baby Moon website that have two design files in them. They have a design for the front and as well as the back. These luggage tags are one in particular. And on the front, there is an embroidered design that has space for you to add a name or really anything you want to on the front side of the luggage tag. And then on the back, there is a pocket that you create, and this tutorial will show you how to put those together. So let's get started. If you have a chance and you want to stitch along, you can pause this video and do it step by step with me. You could also join the Designs by Baby Moon Friends and Fans group on Facebook and get help from any of the 10,800 people that we have in our group. But we are happy to help and happy to help you make these amazing luggage tags on your embroidery machine at home. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is your embroidery machine and a way to transfer your design to it. This is me and my embroidery machine. And then you'll also need embroidery software so that if you want to add lettering like your own name, you can merge that into your design. A lot of people will find out that they actually can merge the designs lettering in on their embroidery machine screen. So if you have that capability, look into that. But if not, and you need to do it on your computer, I recommend using a really simple to use program called Embrilliance Essentials. It is inexpensive as far as software programs go for machine embroidery, and it's also very easy to learn. And there is a lot of help available on Facebook and YouTube videos all over the internet. So you can, we can help you with that if you need to. But if you are interested in learning how to do this, there are other videos about merging lettering into your design. We're going to assume that you already know how to do it here, and so the only other things you'll need is the design file, the double-sided luggage tag design, whichever ones you choose from, designsbybabymoon.com. You will need a 5x7 hoop. This is a large luggage tag, and they do fit into the 5x7 hoop. You'll need tearaway stabilizer. A lot of times people are passionate about the stabilizer they use. I don't find that there's a big difference in using tearaway and cutaway on these designs. Now, if your embroidery material that you're using is a little bit softer, you might want a more durable stabilizer. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. If your design is very stable, then if your vinyl is very stable, or leather, or whatever you're going to use, if the fabric itself is very stable and doesn't move a whole lot, then you would be fine using tearaway stabilizer. But if your vinyl or leather is a little bit softer and stretchy maybe, then you might want to think about using a cutaway or even 2 layers of cutaway stabilizer. So think about that. The more soft or stretchy your material is, the better, the more dense stabilizer would be better for you. Okay, so you'll also need some clear vinyl. And when I say clear vinyl, I'm meaning the stuff that you use if you have a lace tablecloth and you cover it with plastic, or if you see some people use it to cover their upholstered furniture. So clear vinyl, it's also the same stuff that those bags that you get, the zipper bags you get sheets and comforters in. If you have those and you don't want to go out and buy anything, it's on the roll at Walmart. Clear vinyl is also on the roll at most fabric stores in the upholstery section. I recommend you getting something pretty thick, like a 10 or 12 gauge for these pockets. You don't want it very thin because you don't want it to tear from overuse. The 10 or 12 gauge vinyls actually hold up really well for these designs. You'll need coordinating thread to match or contrast with the front fabric. and stitch the design elements out if you choose lots of colors. You'll need cam snaps or metal snaps, something to secure your tab to itself, just like on a regular snap tab embroidery design. And then you'll need stainless steel swivel lobster clasps, and the inside of the D-ring needs to measure at least 3/4 of an inch. So on our website, I do have a list of where I like to get these supplies, but if you already have a supplier, then that's great and you are ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to stitch out the pocket side of your stabilizer. And when you're making a double-sided tag, you always want to do the back part of the design that you're going to do first. So we're going to stitch out the back. We're going to hoop our tearaway stabilizer in a 5x7 hoop and then stitch out the placement stitch. That's pretty basic. We do that for most every embroidery design that we're doing. Then there is going to be a little line that stitches, and it is going to run a kind of a placement stitch right here. And this is where we're going to line up our clear plastic. So on the next slide, it'll show you stitching down the clear plastic. But this is kind of like the top line, and this stays open so that you can slip a business card or travel information or contact information into that luggage tag. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to put that clear plastic up against that edge. And you can see here I'm trimming away the edges of the stabilizer after I've stitched the pocket stitching. So when I'm trimming this away, I'm using some scissors that don't have a serrated edge, the bumpy edges. I'm using some scissors that have smooth blades. And the reason is because I find that this clear vinyl actually takes the serrated edge. You can actually see it if you're cutting. If you're using your scissors action, it will leave those little ridge marks in the vinyl, and I don't care for that. So when you use these blades that are not serrated, you really can just slice through, almost like you were using one of those coupon cutters or something. But the thickness of the blade is just enough width. You want to leave about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and then trim, to trim that vinyl away from the parts where it's stitched on top of the clear vinyl. You've lined up the pocket, the top edge of the pocket with that line, the placement line. I'll go back to it. And so you won't need to trim any off the top, just away from the long sides and the bottom of the pocket. Okay, after you've stitched that pocket edge down, you're going to take the hoop. You're going to remove this vinyl from the hoop. So we're not going to stitch the last step. If you wanted to make a luggage tag that did not have anything on the other side, you could put a piece of vinyl on the back of your hoop at this point and then run the last step that's included in that pocket side luggage tag design that's in this set. But we're not going to do that because we're going to make a double-sided thing. So we're just going to take it out before we stitch the last step. And then we're going to trim around the edges of our stabilizer. Can you see how I've trimmed? Not very neatly, I do say carefully, but not very carefully around the stitching area. And what I really want is I really want these corners and I want these tabs, because when we flip our hoop over after we stitch the next step, we're going to line the corners and the tab up on the back of our other side that we're stitching out now. So this is all you need to do to this piece now. The other side of this piece in the photo actually just has the pocket on it. There's nothing else on the front. The stitching lines that you see here are just on the stabilizer that we stitched first, and I just trimmed around them carefully but roughly, and you can set that aside. So let's work on the front of our design. Okay, again, we're going to hoop our stabilizer, we're going to stitch out placement stitches, and then I have a typo right here. You're going to cover the placement stitches with the right side vinyl, so the decorative vinyl, and I'll correct that in this file for you. We're going to stitch out the design elements that you might have on this side. So you can see I've laid a piece of vinyl, and I have some vinyl size suggestions here. I'm not a good pattern instruction follower even for my own patterns, so I have just cut a piece that I know is going to cover those placement stitches, and it's good enough for me. In this picture, the vinyl that I'm using is the Winged Collection vinyl from My Print Embroidery. It's just really beautiful, and it sews amazingly. I just have a piece off the edge. It's just enough for the luggage tag that I wanted to make, and I love this iron blue. It's called blue iron, blue steel, iron blue. I just love this color. And I wanted a gold and blue luggage tag. Not for any reason, I just wanted it. So you'll stitch out the elements on the design side. And so for this tag, it's the Texas shape, and it's also any lettering that you want to add. And I added our last name into this. Okay, so now we are working on the back of the hoop. We've got that done. And here's the back of the hoop down here. And I've added some sticky stabilizer. This is the back piece that we already made with a little pocket on it. And we're going to flip that over so that the stabilizer is touching the stabilizer on the back of the hoop. And do you see how I have lined the tab up here? I have lined the tab up, and I've let the stabilizer stick to the other stabilizer, and I've lined those corners up so that it's a very, very close match to the front side. When I line it up carefully like this, when you stitch them together, your pocket piece will be nearly perfectly centered. Now, this is a handmade thing, so we talk about, you know, perfection. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. We are not a factory, and we're not using factory machines. We're using home embroidery machines, so please don't stress about this. It is, but if you follow these steps like this and you get that tab lined up and those corners lined up, you will be very surprised at the quality that you can get when you do this. So let's go to the next step. We're going to run that finishing stitch, and you can see I've just run it. I have the back on the hoop, the back pocket side on, and so we've run the outline stitch and secured the front to the back. Okay, all we have to do now is cut it out, trim any threads that your machine might have left. I can see a jump stitch right here. I hope I got that off. And then here we are. We're going to put some cam snaps on. I like to use these plastic cam snaps. I get mine from ilikebigbuttons.com. That's not I'm not sponsored. Nobody's paying me to say any of this. I just like all of the colors that Gina always has at I Like Big Buttons, and she also has nice shapes like hearts and stars that I really enjoy using. So this design right here is the unicorn and stars one, and I added Jasmine's name on here, and I just think that's really fun. But then after you put your snaps on, you're going to put your D-ring on it, loop it, and snap it together. And that's it. You're done. And you have made a double-sided luggage tag on your home embroidery machine. And I hope that you have as much fun making these for yourself as I do. These are really great gifts for people that are traveling. They're great gifts for newlyweds. They're wonderful gifts for new babies because these are great to hang on a diaper bag. The oversized size of it lets you put, with the pocket in the back, lets you put any allergy information or special instructions for whoever's caring for your baby while you're away into that pocket in the back, and it clearly identifies their bag. So they're good for college students going off and then who will be traveling back and forth to home and then to all the adventures that they go on. They're really just a very versatile gift for anyone. So I hope that you've enjoyed these instructions, and please join our group. Again, it's at Facebook, Designs by Baby Moon Friends and Fans. We'd love to have you hang out with us. Show us the luggage tags that you're making and tell us how you're using them too. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.